Good morning, good morning, good morning, B. How's it going?
Good morning, beautiful mother, beautiful butterfly. It is going great. Happy to be awake, alive, sentient, and feeling good. How are you?
Well, all right. Same here. Same here. I did go to bed. I slept. I had couch sleep. Y'all know when couch sleep is happening, it's on and popping. So I had couch sleep yesterday and got up, ate, and bed sleep.
Bed sleep. So how
Yeah.
long did you sleep on the couch? Because I know that's some good. That's some
I
good.
have no idea, but I slept so long and hard. I woke up with my shoulder hurting because I didn't lay down. I just tilted to the side. Yeah.
That was it.
I don't know. And the way I was laying, I it's kind of my shoulder, so it's a little sore. But I just kind of woke up and like, man, I went to sleep.
That's what I was asking. Because if
Hours.
you remember how long you did sleep, then it wasn't that deep. Because
Yeah, no, I don't remember.
man,
Don't
well,
remember.
good. I got some good sleep yesterday too. I sparred 2 different sessions yesterday. I sparred in the morning for like 10 rounds, and then
Hmm.
probably sparred again at night 10 to 15 rounds.
Okay.
And so I came home. I could barely get out the car. I was just tired. And
Yeah.
when ended up going to sleep, like really going to sleep, and I slept so good. Wife gave me
Good.
a massage last night. And I went straight to sleep. Actually, she fell asleep giving me a massage and went to sleep. And then I looked at her. I was like, "You sleep?" And so I ended up going to bed myself and rested really well.
Good. Good.
Yep,
Good.
yep, yep. But
Same here. I
welcome.
was just exhausted yesterday, y'all. Like I was kind of the exhausted, like you're delirious. You're not even just in your right mind. I was exhausted.
And how are you now?
I feel better. I feel better. Much
Good,
better. Much
good.
better.
Me too. I feel like I got so much sleep, but we'll see how that day goes on. But it feels like when I work out very hard and I get sleep, I wake up feeling twice as good the next day.
Yeah.
I don't feel
Right.
lethargic or anything like that. But we'll see how the old muscles do here in a couple of hours. But welcome everybody to the End the Season podcast, day 162. 162 days consecutively of going through the book Daily Motivations for African American Success by Dennis Kimbro. Get the book if you haven't. Um, it is, like I said, we always say this high value, low cost book, high impact book. If you allow it, if you read it daily and you take it seriously, this book can change your life. So every day, we read a passage from this book, we read a quote, we read an affirmation, and we break down what the daily, uh, what the message is for the day. So this book will help you
Brandon,
focus
are we
on the.
good on I don't mean to interrupt you, but are we good on Instagram?
Yeah, we're good on Instagram.
Cool. All right.
Yep. Thank you for that. I
Thanks.
appreciate it.
All right.
So, daily motivations for African American success will help you focus on the thoughts, attitudes, and deeds that will lead to the achievement of your true goals. And 365 short, powerful motivations, one for each day of the year. Dennis Kimbro, the author of the popular Think and Grow Rich, A Black Choice, leads us to discover how to use the present moment and our own gifts to transcend labels, cultivate a positive attitude, become wise enough to know when to say yes and when to say no, and to look inward for answers to life's challenges. So each one of these motivations begins with words of wisdom and a quote from a distinguished and celebrated African American, like Malcolm X, Marion Wright Edelman, Whoopi Goldberg, Charlene Hunter Galt, Bill Cosby, Carl Rowan, Mother Hale, Reverend Leon Sullivan, and hundreds of others. This treasure trove of practical inspiration will give you fresh encouragement every day of the year. What it teaches will last you a lifetime. So, again, thank you all for being here today, for joining us on this adventure of daily motivations for African American success. Who we got in the comments? Who we got in the chat? Let us know how
Cool.
y'all doing and where you at.
Okay, so for our YouTube, Latasha, hey Tasha, how's it going? Got to catch up with you. Brenda Davis, good everything, everybody. She says, KL, one, not, he's talking about my hair. Thank you, KL. I don't know if that's a slick joke or what, but I'm going to keep going this morning. Richetta says, good morning. Good morning, family, butterfly and family nephew. Love you all. So
Love
that's
you
all we
too.
have that has commented. So y'all drop a note to us, say something to us today. Thank you guys for rocking with us this morning. I know, Brandon. Let's sip. Sip some coffee.
Man, that coffee's so good. See, I can't
And
make
y'all,
up
I
my
have a
mind.
Krispy Kreme donut that I slightly warmed in the oven. So every
Ooh,
now and then, you just gonna see me do this.
you wrong for that. You ain't have to say nothing.
Y'all,
You
if you
you
put
could
it in the oven just for a hot second, I'm telling you, it's like
you ain't
it's
have to, you ain't have to say nothing. I can't eat it through the screen. You ain't have to. Then you gonna show it on.
so that
Nah,
means I can chew. Mike, don't say anything about the donut. Don't Big Mike just popped in. Mike, don't say anything about my donut. I'll go get another one. Every now and then, you
good.
just gotta have it. I haven't been in Krispy Kreme in a very long time.
Mama, you fine. You fine. You know you putting on weight and muscle. So sometimes you gotta eat. I ain't saying that's healthy, but get your
It's food.
calories, but get your calories.
Thank you.
Well, while she's doing that, y'all, we're gonna jump right into today's show after a sip of coffee. We're gonna jump right into today's show. The title for today is "Roll Jordan Roll."
What?
Roll Jordan Roll. And did you let? No, that's the 12th.
I'm
That's tomorrow.
like, wait a minute. Did I mess up again?
Yeah,
It's B, y'all. It's B this
it's
morning.
me this morning, y'all. It's the donut. She threw me off with the donut. Now I gotta go get some
Roll Jordan roll. I'm
Dunkin'.
like, wait a minute. I didn't roll Jordan roll last night.
Oh yeah. So you still read them? You still read them beforehand?
I did last night.
Okay.
Yeah,
I have
yeah,
yet to do that. I have yet to do
yeah.
that, but I might have
Sometimes
to
it's
start.
it's good when I
Yeah.
don't. I didn't know if because some you got a lot going, so I was like, let me be prepared because it's a lot to juggle
Oh
without
yeah.
And then
Yeah.
my need is to know. Remember, so I want to
Yes.
know what I'm reading tomorrow, right? You go with the flow, like whatever. He's an influencer, y'all. It's whatever, whatever. That's the life language. Just take the assessment. Okay.
The influencer, contemplator.
What's your need, Brandon?
Are we communicating?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I know them all. I just don't still remember all that stuff. Um, but today's title, not tomorrow's title, but today, July 11th title is "Don't Believe the Hype." Don't believe the hype. And our quote comes from Herman J. Russell, who's an entrepreneur, and he said, "Being successful is not black power. Success means having a place in the sun." Hmm. Being successful is not black power. Success means having a place in the sun. Television and seductive media, television and other seductive media program, excuse me, television and other seductive media program us to believe that success includes the following: wealth, vast material possessions, instant name recognition, and a carefree life. Unfortunately, this is a mythical standard of success. We need only look at the preoccupation with material wealth to realize that we are in real danger. We cannot buy success, wear it, drive it, live in it, or travel to it. Success is rooted in the inner life, the being and living of life, not the outer trappings. Three executives were sitting around trying to nail down a definition of the word success. One of them said, "Success is being invited to the White House for a talk with the president." Another executive said, "Success is being invited to the White House for a meeting with the president." And when the phone interrupts the conversation, the president doesn't answer it. The third executive chimed in, "You guys are way off base. Success is being invited to the White House for a meeting with the president. And when the phone rings, he answers, listens for a moment, and then says, 'Here, it's for you.' What good are fame and fortune if we miss the really valuable things in life, such as love, family, friends, and health, to name a few?" As one well to do invalid was heard to say, "There is nothing special about using a gold bedpan. I trade all my wealth for 2 more healthy years of life." Success is a worthy goal to pursue, but let us be concerned, first and foremost, with peace of mind. And the affirmation or motivation that we read at the end of the passage, we read it 3 times, one time for you, one time for me, and one time for the person you're going to invite to the conversation tomorrow, is success is knowing that one other human being has breathed easier because you lived. Success is knowing that one other human being has breathed easier because you lived. And last time, success is knowing that one other human being has breathed easier because you lived. Mom, over to you.
Okay. I'll start at the top. Don't believe the hype. And I'm going to add to it. Don't not only believe it, but don't pursue it, right? So don't pursue your happiness, your peace based on, again, what we've been saying all along, your outer world. But so often, truth be told, y'all, we look at people, especially this part here where it says we need only look at the preoccupation with the material wealth to realize that we are in real danger. We cannot buy success. So I'm going to say you cannot buy success. You cannot wear it. We've been talking about the red bottoms, the what else, Brandon? I don't know. Whatever else that we overspend, right, on thinking. And if truth be told, and if you really sat down in the seat of your soul and say, question yourself, because I'm not saying it's not okay to have nice things. It's when you feel like you need them, when you need them to be, to feel valued, for someone to look upon you and think that you are successful, right? You cannot buy success, wear it. You cannot drive it. Remember, I mentioned a few days ago about I saw a quote on, a saying on Facebook, a quote about if someone has a paid off trailer and they live in it and it's paid off, and they have a used paid off car and $80,000 in the bank, you see them because of the trailer, the 1980 car that's paid off. You don't know what's in their bank account, but more than anything, they may have a peace of mind. The trailer may be comfortable, nice, because there's nothing wrong with living in a trailer. It's a house, it's a home, right? But look how we the trailer park. What do you really look over there and think and say? How do you judge? What do you see? Imagine. What do you imagine? Who do you imagine in the trailer park, right? So, and then on the flip side of that, look at all of the, not all. Let me back up. Our people that we have, because they have a name, you know them, instant name recognition. Think about how you view them. They have the car, the money, you know them by name, but you don't know them. Just like you don't know the person who lives in the trailer park, right? But still, your perception, um, your worldview is distorted. So, but think about how much money and fame these people have. They can come and go as they please. They can eat what they please. They have people that probably clean up their houses, right? Their house. Um, they have people that do everything for them, right? Yet, how often do we see them in the news? They don't have a peace of mind. They don't have a roadmap. They're just driving. They don't, most of them, not all, because you could tell the ones who have mastered the art of self, or they are mastering it. They're not the money. They're not the instant name recognition. They are sitting in the seat of their soul. They are spiritual aware. They know and trust God, right? So they don't get caught up in the hype of what they have. They more so get caught up in the hype of who God is. And that changes everything. That changes everything. So when if that person gets money, a house, right? it doesn't change them. They're still who they are. But they knew who they were going into it when they got the money. Mike and I was talking, and I said, we need to change our mindset about money, because, we know how to ride or die with little. We had to learn that, right? And so I was like, I want the $1 million now, but I wouldn't buy the red bottoms with it. I would buy somebody a house. And it's my exact words to Mike. My brother's online with us now. I said I would buy a single mother or a single father a house, a car that's paid for. Give them the money for the upkeep. Now I would discern who to give it to for sure. But my overflow, if my cup and my saucer runneth over, it would runneth over into the life of someone who was in need. So I don't believe the hype. I don't buy the hype. I don't want the hype. I don't even look at folks who are the hype, because I know most of y'all just want you want to be seen. So I pass right by your Jag. Don't turn ahead and go, whoa, don't do it. Don't do it, because it doesn't excite me. And I was like this, y'all in high school. I'm turning over to you, Brandon. I used to say, I don't want no guy with a expensive car, because his money is going towards the car. Go buy you a hoopty and let's roll with that until we get on the other side. Don't come rolling up in here in something that's taking one of your paychecks, if not one and a half of them. What are we gonna do with that leftover? What are we gonna do when we could go get us a little Sentra or whatever back then at that time and ride clean? So you have to look at how people spend what they have and what they don't have, right? Look at yourself. So over to you, Brandon. That's just a little bit of.
Thank you, sweetie. Appreciate that. I like the title, Don't Believe the Hype. It makes me think about, two things. One is believe, right? Like something you believe in is usually something you can't really see, right? To me, usually something belief has to have something that's not, doesn't look to be a concrete fact, right? It's something that you have to give a little extra to. And then you look at what the definition of hype is, right? It's some assessment of value that is detached from the actual worth, right? That's the way I see it, right? Hype is like it's value on top of what it could be materially worth. So those might just be some shoes with a red bottom on them, right? It might cost the exact same to make those in the Payless shoes. But because of the hype, right, there's this associated value that is more social than it is material, right? So it's not real. It's a little bit of fool's gold. It's hype. And so where hype goes, it can also, or where hype comes, it can also lead. So you might buy something, this year, and it's all the hype. And 2 years from now, that very same thing is out of style, out of fashion. It didn't move with the times in the same way. But you believed in it and you paid your same dollars to get it. And many times what we associate with things, the values that we give them, in many cases deplete our own sustenance, right? So when you believe the hype, you buy the hype, you exist in the hype, you start to create a life and a world and a perception of yourself and others that is predicated on something that is not real. Hype. One of the things they say in stock investing is buy the rumor and sell the news, right? Buy the rumor and sell the news. The rumor is, man, this has potential to be something great. But the news is the hype. Oh, this is the best stock in the world. Everybody get it. When everyone's flooding in, that's the best time to sell it. But when it's just the rumor that no one really knows about, that's the time when you should really buy in. So believing the hype means you're buying in at the top, meaning it's more opportunity for it to go down than it is to come up. So why are we buying at the top, guys? Why is it that African Americans make up the main purchasers of Mercedes Benz, but we don't have a large section of the market as far as like being GDP producers? You know, why are we the ones with seemingly the least, but purchasing one of the most expensive cars on the market for the average American? There's something that we have to deal with ourselves, where we try to clothe our insecurities with materialism.
Mm.
We try to band-aid our wounds from healing with cars and clothes and shiny things, right? And we associate value to them. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with investing in gold or silver, precious metals, things like that. That's a very human and African thing, correct? But the reason someone will kill you for stepping on their shoes is because their entire personality, their entire self-esteem, their entire view and perception of themselves has been concentrated into a $400 pair of shoes that they worked or spent their last on in order to get, or they begged their mother to get so that they could look cool, so they could climb up the social ladder or the social totem pole and pecking order, right? And none of it matters. All the people I remember in high school that had the fancy shoes and all that, we don't know. I can't remember who had what shoes now, and don't care, But some of these people will kill you over their shoes. They will rob you over the shoes that you have. Do you
Mhm.
guys understand? So, and what is it about this pair of Nikes that incites me to take my brother's life? That I'd rather take his life so that I can take those shoes. What is
And
wrong?
wear them and put
And
them on, wear them or sell them, right? But put them,
right.
check the mindset of that, the mindset of that,
And so
right?
one
And
of the
you,
things that
Brandon, you said something, you don't mind,
no, go
like
ahead, sir.
you stepped on my shoes, out, someone will kill you if you stepped on their shoes, right? They've
Yeah,
put such value in that, but you stepped on that value that those shoes have bought to themselves, right?
right,
As,
right.
as crazy as that sounds, like you stepped on their shoes, but those shoes were the only thing that brought them up just a little bit, and now you just stepped on it and they got to start back over. That's who they are. That's all that they are, is those shoes, the baby shirt, the whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's who they are, because you'll see these same people walking around getting these things, and they be the ones coming back, hey, can I get some money to the next? Dude, you got a whole, you got shoes I don't even buy on. Really? How about we sell them? Right? So over to you, Ben. I'm sorry.
No, no, you're fine. You're fine. I was enjoying that. I was reading something inside of here where it said success is, so basically it's we've talked about this, that success is not in material things,
Right.
and that you will never, if you are chasing success and you're chasing it through the canals and alleyways of materialism and consumerism and hypercapitalism. By hypercapitalism, I mean when you value uh, uh, product over people or money over people, then you will never find it. And the more you chase it, the less successful you will feel. The more it will seem
Mm.
to escape you. And so, what is success? And this passage says success is rooted in the inner life and the being and living of life, not the outer trappings. right? And we even have slogans: trap or die, right? I'm in the trap. Why do we call it a trap? Because that's exactly what it is. What are we will the things that we are willing to do? I won't say we in as a personal thing, but we as a what is promoted in our culture, right? I'm not saying that's actually what we are, but what is promoted, and there's something to that. And who are the owners and controllers of Black media, and not Black owned media, but
Mm.
Black media, right? What are we doing to where we will do something extreme to ourselves and to others in order to increase our status? Ladies, I'm talking about y'all too. You'll cut your body open for a BBL for status, and it could kill you. You try to make your breasts bigger, it could pop and kill you. You'll spend all this money on vanity. Vanity. You will literally commit yourself to one of the 7 deadly sins in order to raise your status, and you think it's going to serve you. One day you're going to be 80 years old with some perky titties. Oh, for real. Now, how stupid. I mean, ain't nobody going to want you, girl. Sit your butt down and get you some real
And
success.
somebody that wants you, they gonna be they hopefully they looking at who you are, not your tits. Because at the end of the day, things go south. Whether they're big, little, medium, whatever, everything tends to start going south in a minute, right?
Exactly.
Unless you have the mindset to be out there, working out, doing your thing, you can
Yeah.
help it. But yeah, y'all, man,
I'm
don't
sorry.
believe the
I didn't mean
hype.
to make.
And I know, I mean, that was almost disastrous. Don't buy into the hype. Don't buy into it. I'm telling y'all, the greatest thing you could do for yourself is stop looking at just stop looking in the world for anything and really sit down. I wonder how many of you just really stood in that mirror and gazed into your eyes I'm talking about for as long as you can do it. How many of us are getting up, starting our day out with God, right? Even if it's just you reading just a little bit, a verse
Mm,
a day, right? Or just thanking him, right? But we get up, we turn the TV on, we check the phone, Facebook, we text, whatever, right? You know, it comes to it when you find the peace. Brandon, you're gonna have to help me with this. You said something yesterday and today about you started talking about women and men and women being more like the moon and men being more like the sun, right? Was that kind of what you said yesterday?
uh-huh.
So this says success means having a place in the sun. Any Do you have anything on that? What do you think having your place in the sun means? SUN, right? Having your place. That's what success is. And as it relates to our sun, going back to nature, right? Having your place in the sun. What do you think that means?
So, to me,
Yeah.
the sun is something that
I mean, having a
provides.
place in it.
The sun is something that provides. The light that it provides is the physical mechanism that allows for life to exist on this planet,
Okay.
because it gives you some form of heat. It's one of the things, right? There's the atmosphere, the water that's here on this planet that has created the atmosphere. Um, but the sun in itself gives everything a type of life. Light is
Mm.
both energy and matter at the same time. It's a very peculiar thing as far as its physical properties, right? So it's both matter and energy and light. So it's a very peculiar thing, and that light through photosynthesis with plants, and everything's eat the plants, and we eat the things, and we eat the plants, and so all that energy is being captured in some way and turned into metabolized into some type of energy. So the sun and its rays gives life, in a sense, provides that life to most everything in this world, and to some degree, either as a primary or even at the bottom of the ocean, you know, where there isn't any light, the sun still has some influence
Mm.
because they eat the things that fall to the bottom of the sea, right? And those things have captured that light in some way. So if you have your, and to me, if you have your place in the sun, then you are one that makes breathing easier for another person. And how do you do that?
Oh.
The breath of life, right? Like when something breathes, for example, plants, they breathe. So if you watch a plant as it grows, or if you watch a plant sped up, right, it actually expands and contracts like lungs as it grows, right? It expands and contracts like lungs. And what it's doing is it's taking in the sun and then going through its digestion with, and turning it into sugar, turning light into sugar, basically, or energy. And same thing with humans, or with that eat the plants. We metabolize whatever properties were inside of those plants for energy, some type of sugar, some type of nutrient. So the sun is making it easy for us to live, easy for us to digest, easy for us to process vitamins and minerals, easy for us to see, right? So having your place in the sun, you're making life easier for something or someone, right? So it goes from the beginning down, that we have in the quote, down to the affirmation, which says that success is knowing that one other human being has breathed easier because you lived. You've shed light on something, right? You've done something that have opened their eyes. You've done something that has given them wind in their sail. Wind would not exist without the heat of the sun. You see what I'm saying? So every single thing that we have going on, and then Earth, and that does not take away from what the moon, and the impact of the moon and what it has on Earth. So everything's in a balance. But just like a father provides, so does the sun with its light.
Mm.
And we can go into a whole nother thing with the
Yeah,
moon being
yeah,
in its feminine, its divine feminine.
yeah. I want to
You know
put,
what I'm saying?
so I'm going to stick this out there. That, Brandon, that was beautiful. I feel like there's so much more I can get out of this one. If I really took the time to study and dig deep. And I just feel that it's so interesting. Success means having a place. Well, let me go back. Being successful is not Black power. Daily motivations for African American success, my brother and my sister, knowing that you're getting and getting. And get this, the system knows that you need to be fed in that way. And that's why they keep bringing a new thing. Give y'all something else to get, right? Let me get this out there. We keep going from one thing to another. Except, now we have trouble here. Because I'm telling y'all, I have to feed, almost choke people to even get to sit down and say, hey, take the assessment. Or just read your word. Don't take the assessment. Hey, read your word. Read what you say you believe. Read it, study to show yourself approved. Because when you get to a place, seek ye first the kingdom of God, right? If you seek, baby, I'm telling you, you will find. But if you keep seeking from this world, who from people who are lost, who are caught up in the hype, who they become the hype, they've become it, right? But if you sit down, step back, turn your eyes, your soul, your heart, your ears inward, you will come to a place where you have a peace of mind, a peace of mind, right? And you will no longer need to feed your outer man. Your inner man will feed the world. Your cup and your saucer will runneth over, and you will desire it to runneth over into someone else's life, helping them, as our affirmation says, success is knowing that one other human being has breathed easier because you lived. You learned to live according to what God's definition is of living. And let me go back. Someone has found their place in the sun. You mean that they are in a job or a situation where they will be happy and have everything they want. Happy. Can you really sit down and say, you know what? And I'm going to use the word joy because we talked about joy versus excitement. And I will proudly say excited is not something I get very much, but I find joy in some of the things that people will look at and be like, what? Joy. I found joy, Brandon. Zali leaves notes everywhere. I found another little note that y'all, stickers, notes, she writes them and she just plants them around the house. So I found this note on this green index card and I sat it on the counter so that I could see it a little bit every day. That's joy for me. She's still here, right? That's joy. That's pure. I smiled when I saw that little card. And it's so sweet, Brandon, because the neighbor came over. She came back here and drew her a picture and she said, here, this is for you. She gives.
Yeah. And
And
she
I
created
started telling people, I
then
was like,
did.
my grandbaby gave you some. I said, mine. You better keep it. My former manager, she drew her picture and she was just so excited to get it. And I believe she's one of the people that will keep it. But yeah, she draws things or she writes and she gives it to him. This is for you. Her little heart, that brings me joy. And so you will get to a place where you are happy. You are grateful that you have everything you want because your wants have become your needs. Brandon, you said that when our wants become our needs, we are successful. Do you remember saying that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So get that, y'all. What is it that you need? And God has said, I will supply your every need.
So that there's a question. If God will supply our every need, then shouldn't we go to God for it?
Oh, that's
Right?
right.
So
Right.
in have you guys ever heard the Islamic call to prayer? Mom, I know you have, where they stand uh usually at the top of a built structure in the cities, or they play it on the loudspeaker, but traditionally there's a person um who is the person in the community to go up to the top, right, and to use their voice across the entire city to call everyone to prayer 5 times a day.
Mm, mm,
If you go to any Muslim country, normally and just before the sun begins to rise, when it's still dark outside, you will hear the call to prayer. And you can look up, how it sounds. People from all over the world that have visited, like, man, it's the most. My own father has told me this is the most beautiful thing I've ever heard. It's beautiful to hear it, the call of prayer in the morning. And you would think
mm,
someone getting up and basically yelling or screaming or reciting over a loudspeaker in the middle of in the darkest part of the morning, just before dawn, would be an annoyance to you, right? But it's
mm.
something that many say that
That's
haven't been raised
beautiful.
there. It's calming, it's spiritual, it starts the day off right. And one of the things that is said in it, so it's just to go through the adhan very quickly. It's Allahu Akbar, ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, ashhadu anna Muhammadar Rasulullah, hayya ala salah, hayya ala falah, qad qamat as-salat, qad qamat as-salat, Allahu Akbar, la ilaha illallah. And there's a part in there that says hayya ala falah, hayya ala falah. And what that literally translates to is rush to success.
Meaning to prayer.
Yeah, so hayyal al salah means rush to salah, or rush to prayer. And then
Hmm.
hayyal al falah right after that means rush to success. So it's saying
Mm,
rush to prayer, rush to
mm,
success,
mm,
rush to prayer, rush to success. And there's a surah in the or a chapter in the Quran called Al Jum'ah, and
Mm.
it's ayah 11, and it just Jum'ah means togetherness, or bringing people together. So we pray in Jum'ah, where it says, when you pray in Jum'ah or in congregation, the reward for it is multiplied by 27. So just by praying together, the reward is multiplied for whatever you're praying for, or what God just provides for you. And it says in that chapter of the Quran, it says, but when they saw a transaction or a diversion, O Muhammad, they rushed to it and left you standing. This is a reference to when he was preaching, right? Or giving a sermon, and they saw basically a caravan come by that people would go to, and they would trade. When people would travel, they'd rush to them to make a sale, right? Because they were traveling through the city or traveling through wherever they live. It says, but when they saw a transaction or a diversion of Muhammad, they rushed to it and left you standing. So say, what is with Allah is better than diversion and than a transaction, and Allah is the best of providers. Say, so basically, what is with God is better than their diversion or their transaction could ever be. And Allah or God is the best of providers. So don't be um, don't be distracted by the transactions. Don't be diverted by the attainment of material wealth when it's time to pray, because what is with your Lord is greater than what is with what is in the world, basically. So these transactions, when it's time to pray, leave your transactions, because you're going to what's better. If you follow what is easy in your life, if you follow what is easy, your life will be hard, right? But if you do what is hard, your life will become easy. So do
Mm.
what others are won't do now, so that when you can't do those things, you can do other things. So when do what people won't do now, and you'll be able to do what others can't do later. Does that make
Mm.
sense?
Yep. Yep.
Make the sacrifices today for what many and most won't do. It's not that they don't have the ability to, but they won't do. And in the future, you'll be able to do what most can't do, even if they wanted to. All right. So make those sacrifices today. Don't believe or buy the hype, but rush to the success of your Lord and seek guidance. Seek guidance first, because that will lead you to success. How many times have we tried to do it on our own? How many
Mm.
times do we know what is commanded of us, but we say, you know what, maybe that was a different time, maybe it's not like that now, as if the decree of God changes.
Yeah.
No, it's us that changes. We change our minds, we change our hearts, we allow the world to change our spirit. That connection that we have with God, that's whatever your connection is to God. Don't allow something to get in between that. Not the world, not materialism, not even your family, but direct all of your energy through God, and allow God to refract that light to wherever it needs to go in different places. Right? You've heard that God is a jealous God. Are you worshiping God, or are you worshiping your car and materialism? Are you worshiping status? Are you worshiping that woman that you want to impress? Are you worshiping that man you want to get to make your husband? Don't you know that if you do something that pleases people but displeases God, God will not only be displeased with you, but he will make them displeased with you. But if you do something that pleases God, though it might be displeasing to the people, not only will God be pleased with you, but ultimately he will make it to where even they are pleased with you, whether they admit it or not.
Mm.
And that's hadith. That's a hadith of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. So prioritize what success is to you. Redefine success for what it truly is. And what is the purpose of your life? And in my faith tradition, it defines the purpose of life as glorifying and worshiping God. says that Allah says that I did not create mankind but to worship me, but to glorify me.
Mm.
All these things that you're getting caught up in, those are just distractions and diversions off of the straight path. So why not rush to success? The fastest way from point A to point B is in a straight line. That's why it says, um, 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 "Iddina sirat al-mustaqim." Guide us to the straight path, the path of those that you bestow your blessings upon, not the path of those who incur your wrath or those who have been led astray. And no matter how
Mm.
far astray you've gone, it only takes one look, one thought, one prayer,
Right,
one humble person to get right back on that straight line.
right back.
Because we're not saying that you have to make it to any particular destination in
The
your
journey.
journey of faith. The fact is your path straight? Is your path straight? That's the only thing. It's not how far you've gone or how it looks to others. Is your path straight? Upon your death, you can live a full life, but this is here's a kicker, and I'll end with this. If you knew how much weight your last moments have on the trajectory of your hereafter, of your life after death, if you knew how much weight your last deed, your last word, your last thought, your last breath, your last action, your last day had on your afterlife, you would be more careful with every breath you take, every word you say, everything you do. Because life is not promised for any of us for tomorrow. Someone could not be here today. What if I told you 50%? You could live your whole life and you die in a state of evil. You die doing a bad deed. You die taking those shoes away. You die driving past the homeless family, single mother with
Mm.
her family sitting there begging to go purchase that Mercedes Benz. You take it off the lot and you go get it. You go crash. The status of your heart on your last day has a great weight on where you are in the end. And opposite of that, for people who may not have lived a good life, the weight of your last deeds could be the one that gets you into heaven. There's a story in my faith tradition of a prostitute who had lived a life of prostitution, and she was walking in the desert and saw a dog panting near a well, and the dog does not have the ability to drink from the well, but it's the desert, the dog is hot. She got the well and put the water in her shoe so that the dog could drink it, and left the shoe for the dog to drink. It was at that moment that Allah, God, whatever you want to call, that God granted her paradise, wrote her name in the book of life for paradise because of how compassionate and merciful she was to a dog despite her life previous to before. So if
Mm.
you are merciful to creation, God will be merciful to you, right? So, but go ahead, Mom. I'm sorry. You want to
Brandon,
say
may
something?
I say something? In the story about the prostitute, you guys, I'm thoughtful or thinking about how, and this has happened, like a person who has been on the street prostituting get changes their life, right? They come home, they start going back to church. There are people in the church that will only see what she came from, not where she's going to, and she's judged by where she came from. And you never ever know why people end up where they are, right? You never, somebody could have put something in some they people do it, put things in people's drinks. We have evil, the rulers of darkness is amongst us every day. And that's why you have to be light, and you have to be attached, connected to God, right? You have to be to fight in this world, right? So think about just how you see people,
Yeah.
how you judge people, because at that moment, Well, God already knows our heart, right? And truth be told, we're all maybe in now or have been caught up in something that is not of our character. But when you grow and you get to a point, right? When you grow and you get to a point, when you know that you know that you know who your creator is, right? And we don't always instantly come out of those situations. It takes time. Now, can we? Absolutely. But when God is growing you, you are going through something. You are going through something. So that's another thing. Don't believe the hype. Don't always believe what you just see on the surface. Because there are some people out there. I'm gonna say this, and I got it. I have to jump off. There's a something I saw. I believe it was on YouTube where this homeless. Well, he wasn't homeless. This guy was going to take his life. He was telling people, I have this money. I'm going to take my life. I'll leave it with you. People accepted the money time after time. Homeless guy, like, man, you gonna kill yourself. That was his focus. Like, forget this money. What did you say? You want me to take this money because you're gonna go kill yourself? No, man, you can't do that. So some of the people, I believe that's what God means in some sense. Like, y'all know, we will puff these people up, and the people that you've left out, walked past in the dungeon, the homeless person. There's not a time that I don't pass by what I see as a homeless person where I don't pray for them. There is not a time that I don't offer up a prayer for them. I might not can get out, and I wish I could take them whatever in, because it's just not that part of the day. Now, if God leads me to do it, I'm going to do it. And there are times where he's led me to where I can't keep going. I have to turn around, right? For whatever the reason is. But this means that what? The day you hear his voice. Some of us are so busy and so caught up in the hype. God is speaking to you, giving you a word, an assignment, directions to the assignment, all the tools you need for when you get to an assignment, but you can't hear his voice because you are caught up. You believe the hype, you caught up in it, you are the hype, right? So I'll stop it there. I'm going to study this one more. I might drop some things out there if I find it, that you might be interested in as well. I did drop some things in there last night, as I promised yesterday. So y'all go back, share this, spend more time contemplating it. And remember, as the back of the book says, and I'll try to read it, mine is messed up. If there is any power that can reverse the fortune of a race, it is character, writes Dennis Kimbro. Every thought which utters our mind, every word we utter, every deed we perform makes this innermost impression. What is that word? But impression, my book is messed up, on the innermost fiber of our being,
Yes.
right? So you guys think about that. Be real with yourself. Stop lying to yourself. There's a question that I wanted to get in, Brandon, and I know you would want to as well, but you guys, and we'll carry this on tomorrow. I'm going to put it out there, and maybe you and KL can connect. I have an answer. I'm going to give my answer really quickly. We had some great comments. Y'all go back and read them. Thank you, Matt Holloway. He jumped in, he says, I love you guys. Providing it provides. He says many other things there. But KL has a question here, and I'm going to give the answer, Brandon, if you can answer that for us tomorrow. He says, how can some Muslims take religion to such erratic extremes? And this is like, to me, KL, you and I go way back, so I can talk to you how I want to talk to you. This question would be the same as a white person saying, how can black people do this, the other? People are people. Humans are humans. Religions is also the same way a Baptist takes things to the extreme. A Jehovah Witness, right? People are people. Let's not put people in a box. I know this is just a question, but let's not put Muslims in a box, Baptists in a box, right? Let's take people out of the boxes that society has made us believe in the hype, right?
Right.
Because if you sat down with a Muslim brother, a Baptist, Pentecostal, we got all these different religions. But at the end of the day, they're all talking about a God that they serve. And
Mhm.
even that is a distraction when we start getting people labeled. Because I say this, that one day we're going to wake up and I'm going to be a light skinned black girl with gray hair, brown eyes, and you see the separation that happens, and it takes our eyes off of the one true God, and that God made us different. What if He made us different and have us think different to see if we'd still be able to come together? Because how do we have these kind of questions? And I'm not talking about you, Caleb, just people. I thank you for the question because it needs to be asked. We need to have the conversations.
And can I
The
say too?
gathering that we came together, all of us at the
Yeah,
mosque, one of the most beautiful experiences I've
yeah.
ever had
Can
because
I?
we had a melting pot. Yes, you can. I'm sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm going to talk about this tomorrow.
Really quick, because I know you have to go. The question, the premise of the question shows that you don't know Muslims. You don't have Muslims in your life. Where you've learned from Muslims has been on the television from the same people that have told
He did say
white,
some.
right, have told white people that you are dangerous because of the race, because of your race. And so I would say some Muslims, give me an example of Muslims taking something to the extreme, and we can take that as an individual. But I would also say reflect on the KKK is a Christian organization. Hitler was a Christian, a devout Christian by his word. The Crusades were led by Christians. Some of the most murderous things that have happened. The greatest tragedies that have been committed by mankind, slavery, was for the three G's: God, gold, and glory. It started with God. The eradication of the indigenous people of the United States of America was put out saying that it was because of God. The taking of land in historic Palestine by the Zionists in the occupying state of Israel was because of for God, was for the for God, who they claim are Jewish people, but they're actually not, because they don't follow the Torah. So the premise of the question itself denotes an ignorance of the actual people. So I would say get to know Muslims, go to a mosque, visit it, and learn about the people from the people, and not from the people against the people. Because to learn about someone through their enemy is not a good characterization of them. Just like someone to learn about you from your enemy would not be a good characterization of yourself. And so, and judge a people by the book and not a book by the people. Because Lord knows, if I judge Christians, if I judge Christianity by Christians, what kind of idea would I have about your Lord? And if I and so likewise, unless you know people specifically, don't judge the entire book, or 2.2 billion people, or a quarter of this entire world's population, by a small fraction of what you've heard through legacy media, who are the same people that told you you were a nigger.
Mm. All right now.
All right,
On that note,
I love you,
yeah,
I love you. But we got
yeah,
to keep
great
the
question. Right, right, great
great
question,
question,
KL. Thank you.
because it's something, it's something that needs to be asked, right? Because
Yeah,
and we're brothers, so like,
understanding.
he should ask me
Yeah.
specifically, like, hey, you're Muslim, I know you, I love you, and I love you too. Why do I have this perception? Why is it that they take, and who is they, and who are the ones that told you they were they? Right? We have to be very careful, because if
Yeah.
not, like Malcolm X said, they'll have you hating the what did Malcolm X say? He said if you're not careful, the news will have you hating the oppressed and loving the oppressor.
That's right.
So let's be
You have
careful.
some.
We'll learn together.
Right,
Huh?
right. Yeah, you have some. Matter of fact, I heard this story last year. A white elderly man who had at his church, they got a new pastor. The new pastor is a black man, was a black man, and you had white Christians leave the church. You don't want to hear a black man preach or talk about God. Imagine that, y'all. I only want to look and learn about God from a white man. Think about the mindset of that person and that he believes he is justified in believing that. So I'm going to go find me a church with a white man. Didn't even give the black man a chance because of the color of his skin and also because of what he's been taught, right? I ain't going to have no nigga that we had hanging from trees and slaves preaching to me and teaching me about God, right? And he goes on to another church and serves God in his own mindset, right? Think about that. Think about that. KL, great question. Brought about some great
Yeah,
dialogue.
yeah. Thank
You,
you,
my
brother.
brother, I understand the question, but I had to get it out there because maybe you had to ask it because someone else needed to hear it, right? The
Yeah.
answers, and that they will think differently today. They will search. They will, next time they pass a Muslim, they won't judge them without knowing who they are, right? So we got to go, you guys. I gotta get
And I
out of here.
say
I
this,
gotta run.
say this, Kate, anybody that wants a Quran to read it for themselves so that they can make distinction between what they see and what Islam is, I'll give you one for free. Anybody that contacts me through this, I can get you a free Quran and I will also send it to you. So send me your address and I'll send you one. And that way you won't have any ignorances. You will have the source, a primary source about what Islam is versus the secondary, third, or propaganda sources that have a specific end that they're trying to push. You'll be able to educate yourself on it yourself, and you can have your own opinion that's rooted in fact and not perception or propaganda.
I would say, for nothing else, the Book of Mary. If you just get it and read chapter 19, is
Yeah.
19, is it
Uh-huh.
chapter 19?
Hmm.
Read the Book of Mary. It's so beautiful. I'm telling you, it's so beautiful. We'll get back on that. So if they contact you, Brandon, I'll pay for it to be mailed for anybody, right? It will not create division. It will bring unity and love. And that's
Yeah.
all God wants us to do. You know, if you can love God who you've not seen, if you could trust God who you've not seen, but if you are there, you've seen him in your life, right? And that's all we need. But I say that to say, how, if you can do that, then how can you not love your brother or your sister, even if they think differently, if they look different than you, right? I'm talking to my white brothers and sisters, my Chinese, I'm talking to everybody because at the end of the day, I'm not your keeper, I'm your sister too,
Right.
right? And character is that internal regulator, right? That allows you to do the right thing regardless of any potential gain for you. There is never, there is never a right time to do the wrong thing. Period.
Mm,
Don't
mm,
lie to yourself. All right,
don't
Brandon,
believe
I
the hype.
gotta
All
get
right.
out of here. Don't believe the hype. That's right.
I believe the hype. Love y'all so much. Appreciate y'all for staying here, rocking with us, for the comments, questions, and for taking us um for valuing our opinion, and so much as to listen for an hour about this. It's really humbling. I appreciate y'all so much. So again, we're gonna close this the end of season podcast on day 162. Our title was "Don't Believe the Hype," and our quote came from Herman J. Russell: "Being successful is not black power. Success means having a place in the sun." And our quote, not our quote, but our motivation and inspiration at the bottom of the page that we read 3 times is: "Success is knowing that one other human being has breathed easier because you live." Success is knowing that one other human being has breathed easier because you live. Success is knowing that one other human being has breathed easier because you live. Thank y'all so much for joining us. We'll be back here same time, same place tomorrow, 7 a.m. on In the Season podcast. Like, subscribe, and turn on notifications on YouTube. Take care. Peace.
Share this video. We love
Please do.
you guys. See you tomorrow. Share, share, share.
Peace.